Hello, thank you for joining me reading Granddaddy's Bible. Today we're reading chapters 8, 9, and probably 10. Chapter 8. The 7 lamps are placed on the golden candlestick to shine towards the loaves of proposition, the ordination of the levites, and to what age they shall serve in the tabernacle. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to Aaron, and thou shalt say to him, When thou shalt place the 7 lamps, let the candlestick be set up on the south side. Give orders, therefore, that the lamps look over against the north, towards the table of the loaves of proposition. Over against that part shall they give light, towards which the candlestick looketh. And Aaron did so, and he put the lamps upon the candlestick, as the Lord had commanded Moses. Now this was the work of the candlestick. It was of beaten gold, both the shaft in the middle and all that came out of both sides of the branches, according to the pattern which the Lord had shown to Moses. So he made the candlestick. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Take the Levites out of the midst of the children of Israel, and thou shalt purify them, according to this rite. Let them be sprinkled with the water of purification, and let them shave all the hairs of their flesh. And when they shall have washed their garments, and are cleansed, they shall take an ox of the herd, and for the offering thereof fine flour, tempered with oil. And thou shalt take another ox of the herd for a sin offering. And thou shalt bring the Levites before the tabernacle of the multitude of the children of Israel. And when the Levites are before the Lord, the children of Israel shall put their hands upon them. And Aaron shall offer the Levites as a gift in the sight of the Lord from the children of Israel, that they may serve in his ministry. The Levites also shall put their hands upon the heads of the oxen, of which thou shalt sacrifice one for sin, and the other for a holocaust to the Lord, to pray for them. And thou shalt set the Levites in the sight of Aaron and of his sons, and shalt consecrate them, being offered to the Lord, and shalt separate them from the midst of the children of Israel to be mine. And afterwards they shall enter into the tabernacle of the covenant to serve me, and thus shalt thou purify and consecrate them for an oblation of the Lord, for as a gift they were given me by the children of Israel. I have taken them instead of the firstborn that opened every womb in Israel. For all the firstborn of the children of Israel, both of men and of beasts, are mine. From the day that I slew every firstborn in the land of Egypt, I have sanctified them to myself. And I have taken the Levites for all the firstborn of the children of Israel, and have delivered them for a gift to Aaron and his sons out of the midst of the people, to serve me for Israel in the tabernacle of the covenant, and to pray for them, lest there should be a plague among the people, if they should presume to approach unto my sanctuary. And Moses and Aaron and all the multitude of the children of Israel did with the Levites all that the Lord had commanded Moses. And they were purified, and washed their garments, and Aaron lifted them up in the sight of the Lord, and prayed for them, that being purified, they might go into the tabernacle of the covenant to do their services before Aaron and his sons. As the Lord had commanded Moses touching the Levites, so was it done. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, This is the law of the Levites from 25 years old and upwards. They shall go in to minister in the tabernacle of the covenant. And when they shall have accomplished the 50th year of their age, they shall cease to serve. And they shall be the ministers of their brethren in the tabernacle of the covenant, to keep the things that are committed to their care, but not to do the works. Thus shalt thou order the Levites touching their charge. Chapter 9. The precept of the pasch is renewed. The unclean and travelers are to observe it the second month. The camp is guided by the pillar of the cloud. The Lord spoke to Moses in the desert of Sinai, the 2nd year after they were come out of the land of Egypt, in the 1st month, saying, Let the children of Israel make the phase in its due time, the 14th day of this month, in the evening, according to all the ceremonies and justifications thereof. And Moses commanded the children of Israel that they should make the phase. And they made it in its proper time, the 14th day of the month, at evening, in Mount Sinai. The children of Israel did according to all things that the Lord had commanded Moses. But behold, some who were unclean by occasion of the soul of a man, who would not make the phase on that day, coming to Moses and Aaron, said to them, We are unclean by occasion of the soul of a man. Why are we kept back, that we may not offer in its season the offering to the Lord among the children of Israel? And Moses answered them, Stay, that I may consult the Lord, what he will ordain concerning you. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Say to the children of Israel, The man that shall be unclean by occasion of one that is dead, or shall be in a journey afar off in your nation, let him make the phase to the Lord. In the 2nd month, on the 14th day of the month, in the evening, they shall eat it with unleavened bread and wild lettuce. They shall not leave anything thereof until morning, nor break a bone thereof. They shall observe all the ceremonies of the phase. But if any man is clean, and was not on a journey, and did not make the phase, that soul shall be cut off from among his people, because he offered not sacrifice to the Lord in due season. He shall bear his sin. The sojourner also and the stranger, if they be among you, shall make the phase to the Lord, according to the ceremonies and justifications thereof. The same ordinance shall be with you, both for the stranger and for him that was born in the land. Now on the day that the tabernacle was reared up, a cloud covered it. But from the evening there was over the tabernacle, as it were, the appearance of fire until the morning. So it was always by day the cloud covered it, and by night as it were the appearance of fire. And when the cloud that covered the tabernacle was taken up, the children of Israel marched forward, and in the place where the cloud stood still, there they camped. At the commandment of the Lord they marched, and at his commandment they pitched the tabernacle. And all the days that the cloud abode over the tabernacle, they remained in the same place. And if it was so that it continued over a long time, the children of Israel kept the children of Israel kept watches of the Lord, and marched not. For as many days soever as the cloud stayed over the tabernacle, at the commandment of the Lord, they pitched their tents, and at his commandment they took them down. If the cloud tarried from evening until morning, and immediately at break of day left the tabernacle, they marched forward. And if it departed after a day and a night, they took down their tents. But if it remained over the tabernacle for 2 days, or a month, or a longer time, the children of Israel remained in the same place, and marched not. But immediately, as soon as it departed, they removed the camp. By the word of the Lord they pitched their tents, and by his word they marched, and kept the watches of the Lord according to his commandment by the hand of Moses. Chapter 10. The silver trumpets and their use. They marched from Sinai. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Make thee 2 trumpets of beaten silver, wherewith thou mayest call together the multitude when the camp is to be removed. And when thou shalt sound the trumpets, all the multitude shall gather unto thee to the door of the tabernacle of the covenant. If thou sound but once, the princes and the heads of the multitude of Israel shall come to thee. But if thou sound of the trumpets be longer, with interruptions, that they are on the east side shall first go forward. And at the second sounding, like noise of the trumpet, they who lie on the south side shall take up their tents. And after this manner shall the rest do when the trumpets shall sound for a march. But when the people is to be gathered together, the sound of the trumpets shall be plain, and they shall not make a broken sound. And the sons of Aaron the priest shall sound the trumpets, and this shall be an ordinance forever in your generations. If you go forth to war out of your land against the enemies that fight against you, you shall sound aloud with the trumpets, and there shall be a remembrance of you before the Lord your God, that you must be delivered out of the hands of your enemies. If at any time you shall have a banquet, and on your festival days, and on the first days of your months, you shall sound the trumpets over the holocausts and the sacrifices of peace offerings, that they may be to you for a remembrance of your God. I am the Lord your God. The second year, in the second month, the 20th day of the month, the cloud was taken up from the tabernacle of the covenant. And the children of Israel marched by their troops from the desert of Sinai, and the cloud rested in the wilderness of Paran. And the first went forward according to the commandment of the Lord by the hand of Moses. The sons of Judah by their troops, whose prince was Nason, the son of Amminadab. In the tribe of the sons of Issachar, the prince was Nathaniel, the son of Suar. In the tribe of Zebulun, the prince was Eliab, the son of Helon. And the tabernacle was taken down, and the sons of Gershon and Merari set forward bearing it. And the sons of Reuben also marched by their troops and ranks, whose prince was Heleser, the son of Sedur. And in the tribe of Simeon, the prince was Salamiel, the son of Surisadai. And in the tribe of Gad, the prince was Eliasaph, the son of Duel. Then the Kathites also marched, carrying the sanctuary, so long as the tabernacle carried, till they came up to the place of setting it up. The sons of Ephraim also moved their camp by their troops, in whose army the prince was Elisama, the son of Ammiud. And in the tribe of the sons of Manasseh, the prince was Gamaliel, the son of Phatasur. And the tribe of Benjamin, the prince was Abidan, the son of Gideon. The last of all the camp marched the sons of Dan by their troops, in whose army the prince was Ahiezer, the son of Ammisaddai. And in the tribe of the sons of Aser, the prince was Phagiel, the son of Ochran. And in the tribe of the sons of Naphtali, the prince was Ira, the son of Enan. This was the order of the camps and marches of the children of Israel by their troops, when they set forward. And Moses said to Hobab, the son of Raguel, the Midianite, his kinsman, we are going towards the place which the Lord will give us. Come with us, that we may do thee good, for the Lord hath promised good things to Israel. But he answered him, I will not go with thee, but I will return to my country wherein I was born. And he said, do not leave us, for thou knowest in what places we should encamp, in the wilderness, and thou shalt be our guide. And if thou comest with us, we will give thee what is the best of the riches, which the Lord shall deliver to us. So they marched from the mount of the Lord 3 days' journey, and the ark of the covenant of the Lord went before them for 3 days, providing a place for the camp. The cloud also of the Lord was over them by day when they marched. And when the ark was lifted up, Moses said, Arise, O Lord, and let thy enemies be scattered, and let them that hate thee flee from before thy face. And when it was set down, he said, Return, O Lord, to the multitude of the host of Israel. We're going to go ahead and read chapter 11 as well. The people murmur and are punished with fire. God appointeth 70 ancients for assistance to Moses. They prophesy. The people have their fill of flesh, but forthwith many die of the plague. In the meantime, there arose a murmuring of the people against the Lord, as it were, repining at their fatigue. And when the Lord heard it, he was angry. And the fire of the Lord began being kindled against them, devoured them that were at the uttermost part of the camp. And when the people cried to Moses, Moses prayed to the Lord, and the fire was swallowed up. And he called the name of that place the burning, for that the fire of the Lord had been kindled against them. For a mixed multitude of people that came up with them burned with desire, sitting and weeping, the children of Israel also being joined with them, and said, Who shall give us flesh to eat? We remember the fish that we ate in Egypt free cost. The cucumbers come into our mind, and the melons, and the leeks, and the onions, and the garlic. Our soul is dry, our eyes behold nothing else but manna. Now the manna was like coriander seed of the color of bdellium. And the people went about and gathering it, ground it in a mill, or beat it in a mortar, and boiled it in a pot, and made cakes thereof, the taste of bread tempered with oil. And when the dew fell in the night upon the camp, the manna also fell with it. Now Moses heard the people weeping by their families, every one at the door of his tent. And the wrath of the Lord was exceedingly enkindled. To Moses also the thing seemed insupportable. And he said to the Lord, Why hast thou afflicted thy servant? Wherefore do I not find favor before thee? And why hast thou laid the weight of all this people upon me? Have I conceived all this multitude, or begotten them, that thou shouldest say to me, Carry them in thy bosom, as the nurse is wont to carry the little infant, and bear them into the land for which thou hast sworn to their fathers? Whence should I have flesh to give to so great a multitude? They weep against me, saying, Give us flesh that we may eat. I am not able alone to bear all these people, because it is too heavy for me. But if it seem unto thee otherwise, I beseech thee to kill me, and let me find grace in thy eyes, that I be not afflicted with so great evils. And the Lord said to Moses, Gather unto me 70 men of the ancients of Israel, whom thou knowest to be ancients and masters of the people. And thou shalt bring them to the door of the tabernacle of the covenant, and shalt make them stand there with thee, that I may come down and speak with thee. And I will take of thy spirit, and will give to them, that they may bear with thee the burden of the people, and thou mayest not be burdened alone. And thou shalt say to the people, Be ye sanctified, tomorrow you shall eat flesh, for I have heard you say, Who will give us flesh to eat? It was well with us in Egypt, that the Lord may give you flesh, and you may eat, nor for 1 day, nor 2, nor 5, nor 10, nor for 20, but even for a month of days, till it come out at your nostrils, and become loathsome to you, because you have cast off the Lord, who is in the midst of you, and have wept before him, saying, Why came we out of Egypt? And Moses said, There are 600,000 footmen of this people, and sayest thou, I will give them flesh to eat a whole month? Shall then a multitude of sheep and oxen be killed, that it may suffice for their food? Or shall the fishes of the sea be gathered together to fill them? And the Lord answered to him, It is the hand of the Lord unable. Thou shalt presently see whether my word shall come to pass or not. Moses therefore came and told the people the words of the Lord, and assembled 70 men of the ancients of Israel, and made them to stand about the tabernacle. And the Lord came down in a cloud and spoke to him, taking away of the spirit that was in Moses, and giving to the 70 men. And when the Spirit had rested on them, they prophesied, nor did they cease afterwards. Now there remained in the camp 2 of the men, of whom one was called Eldad, and the other Medad, upon whom the Spirit rested, for they also had been enrolled, but were not gone forth to the tabernacle. And when they prophesied in the camp, there ran a young man and told Moses, saying, Eldad and Medad prophesy in the camp. Forthwith Joshua, the son of Nun, the minister of Moses, and chosen out of many, said, My lord Moses, forbid them. But he said, Why hast thou emulation for me? Oh, that all the people might prophesy, and the Lord would give them his spirit. And Moses returned with the ancients of Israel into the camp. And a wind going out from the Lord, taking quails up beyond the sea, brought them and cast them into the camp, for the space of 1 day's journey on every side of the camp round about, and they flew in the air 2 cubits high above the ground. The people therefore, rising up all that day and night, and the next day, gathered together quails. He that did least 10 cores, and they dried them round about the camp. As yet the flesh was between their teeth, neither had that kind of meat failed. When behold, the wrath of the Lord being provoked against the people, struck them with an exceeding great plague. And that place was called the graves of lust, for there they buried the people that had lusted. And departing from the graves of lust, they came unto Hazeroth, and abode there. There's a lot of subtitles. I haven't been reading these consistently, but I'm going to read them for these chapters. Chapter 8, verse 7. Let them be sprinkled with the water of purification. This was the holy water mixed with the ashes of the red cow. Numbers 19. Appointed for purifying all that were unclean. It was a figure of the blood of Christ applied to our souls by his holy sacraments. Chapter 8, Exodus, references Exodus 13, Numbers 3 and 13, Luke 2:23. See, chapter 9, verse 2, make the phase. That is, keep the paschal solemnity and eat the paschal lamb. Verse 6, behold, some who were unclean by occasion of the soul of man, that is, by having touched or come near a dead body, out of which the soul was departed. Chapter 10. Sorry, that's chapter 11. Chapter 10 just references Numbers 1:7. So we'll stop there for the day, and we'll be reading tomorrow, starting in chapter 11. Thank you for joining me reading Granddaddy's Bible.